Hey everybody, Big V here, Verl Workman, and today, guess what? We're talking teams. So what is it about teams that helps you become more productive? That's a good question, isn't it? I love that, like that pause where everybody has to think about something for a second. So when I make that pause and I'm sharing with you the video, I actually want you to think about it. What is it about teams that gives you the ability to become more productive? How do we stop wasting time and start making more money? One of my favorite authors is Mandino. I read him when I was in high school. And Mandino wrote a book in one night. It became his best-selling book of all time. It's called How to Become the Greatest Salesman in the World. And the greatest salesman in the world is a story about a young man who goes on a journey to seek out a mentor. And the mentor tells him, if you go into the world and you do these activities, when you come back, I will give you the 10 scrolls which will unlock the universe to greatness. In scroll number 1, it says this. He says, "Today I begin a new life. Today I shed my old skin, which has long suffered the bruises of failure and the wounds of mediocrity. Today I'm born anew, and my birthplace is a vineyard where there's fruit for all." And what Og is saying right there is he's saying, hey, what if today you could have a do-over? What if you could shed all of your excuses for failure, all of your mediocrity, and just start fresh? Man, I love those words. If you flip the page to the very next page, I think it's 58, it says, "The career I have chosen is laden with opportunity, yet it's fraught with heartbreak and despair. And the bodies of those who have failed before me, where they piled on top of each other, would cast a shadow down upon the pyramids." You could have just said, all right, so I think I'm going to be a realtor. I think that's kind of funny. He says, "But I will not fail, for now I hold in my hands these charts that will help guide me through the perilous waters of real estate." He says that failure will no longer be my payment for struggle. I think it's really cool as you go to the next paragraph. Mandino says, "The only difference between those who succeeded and those who failed lies in their habits. Good habits unlock the door to success, while bad habits are the unlocked door to failure. So the first law I will follow is I will form good habits and become their slave." In the previous videos, you've heard me talk about the Daily Success Habits Tracker. That was developed because of that message from Mandino's scroll number 1, form good habits and become their slave. I want you to go back, if you can't remember, and watch the video on Daily Success. I'll put it in the link right here on Daily Success Habits Tracker. And remember that your habits determine your value in the marketplace. And to form good habits, you must do the same thing over and over. Well, we introduced a new concept called the My Perfect Week. Every week is either accidentally created or it's intentional creation. I love that term, intentional creation. You'll hear me use it again as you've heard me use it in the past, because I believe that your life, your business, your family, your environment can be intentionally created if you choose to. So we created a tool, it's called My Perfect Week, and it simply looks like this. Each week, before the week begins, depending on what your biological prime time is, if you're a morning owl, it might be early Monday morning. If you're a night owl, maybe late Sunday night, you sit and you look at your week. And using the drop-down menus that you'll see on the screen, you can then pick what you're going to do with every 30-minute increment of your day. So for example, I like to say that my 5 F's, family, faith, friends, fun, and fitness, I always schedule those things in first. So I get up in the morning and I have a swim. That's my fitness. With my family, I have date night, maybe Friday night or Saturday night. I've been doing that for 37 years and it still works. We have a night that we spend with our families. We call it family night, where we do something as a family to keep the family together. You put your personal things in first. If you put them in first, they'll always get done. And then I make them non-negotiable. You should write this down. I call it an NNA, a non-negotiable activity. That means if somebody wants to have me go show $1 million house on Friday night and it's date night, guess what? I'm busy, I have a date. I have never lost a client because I told them I'm going out with my wife and we have a date night scheduled. And if a client said to me, if you can't show me a house right now, I'm not able to do it, I don't even know how to respond to that because it's never happened. Because I have a team, I would send a buyer's agent to show that property, or someone who hasn't got that blocked out that night. We always have someone that is available, and that's one of the big advantages of having a team. So we first put in our family, faith, friends, fun, and fitness, the things that you want to put in first. If your kids have a ball game or they have a dance recital or something that's important to them, you schedule it next. And then we schedule money-making activities. Money-making activities are direct prospecting. So I'm going to have an hour a day if I do prospecting. I schedule out when I do my daily huddles. We schedule out our role plays. And then I want you to think about this. If you're a buyer's agent, when in the day do you want to show houses? I'll have times in the afternoon, times in the morning. When a client called and said, I'd like to look at a house this week, you say, great. Would you like to go in the morning or afternoon? By giving them the option of morning or afternoon, what happens is they then choose one of those two. You notice I didn't give them the option of evening. Oh, is that all you have? Yeah, morning or afternoon. They go, okay, well, let's do in the afternoon, late as you can. Okay, 3 o'clock. I then put them intentionally in the spot that I've decided I'm going to be available to show homes. You see, when you're intentional about it, you'll find that people will fill in your spots. Now, I've never had a perfect week, but I've had better weeks, and each week gets a little bit better when you're more intentional about laying it out. If you're a listing agent, then you have prospecting time in there. You have open houses that you're doing. You have time when you're doing lead follow-up. And so lead follow-up is different than looking for new business, called prospecting. We're gonna do a whole video, and it's coming up, on how to convert more of the opportunities into real sales. So stay tuned for that video. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you get all these videos and content that we're sharing you on how to build an amazing team. So we have our perfect week. We're putting our personal things in first. Remember the 5 F's? What are they? Family, faith, friends, fun, and fitness. I added 6 for food because that's what I really like, but I don't like to throw that out there too often. And then we figure out what we're gonna do. Now, the next thing, this is really a hard one, is you take your perfect week, and remember in the video on daily success habits, we talked about tracking what you actually do in 30-minute increments. At the end of the week, I want you to compare the two. What I intend to do and what did I actually do? And by reviewing and looking at them together, then you can decide whether or not your activities are $1,000 an hour activities. If you can delegate an activity to somebody else for less than $1,000 an hour, you shouldn't be doing it yourself. Because I can't get you to where you're making $1 million a year if you spend any part of your day doing $50 or $20 an hour activities. And so my perfect week is how we intentionally design it. The daily success habits tracker is how we track whether or not we've done it. We compare, and then we make course corrections. I've never had a perfect week, but I've had lots of weeks that just get better. Is it your time to begin a new life? Is it your time to form good habits or better habits and become their slave? If so, then I'm going to challenge you to get up this week, download the perfect week. I'm going to put the link right on the screen right now. You don't have to wait till the very end. Download the My Perfect Week scheduler. It's in a Google Doc and it's shared. When you get the document, I want you to go to the top left-hand corner, hit File, Save As. Then you have the ability to edit it and make it yours. Go in and design your perfect week and then go share it with your team. So once you've done it for yourself and you've done it a few times, then you go back and share with your team what you've learned. And here's what I've learned, and here's what I think you'll discover. You'll discover that when you become more intentional, you'll realize how little time you spend on dollar productive activities, and you'll start spending more time doing things that generate revenue. The next thing you're going to discover is that you've got some habits that you need to work on and make better habits because you're not spending enough time looking for new business. The 3 things we talked about that every team leader should do, number 1 is we are in business development. Number 2, we're in people development. And we prospect, we list houses, and we negotiate and close transactions. Everything else, you should delegate it. Systems and people is what we use to create leverage. Leverage is when you find a problem in your business and you move closer towards it. When you move closer towards it, it allows you to delegate it or create systems that make it go away. Time and life mastery is not something that just happens. By the way, I've learned you can't speed it up, nor can you slow down the passage of time. All you can do is manage yourself inside that finite resource we call time management. Time management is a myth. Me management is a reality. Are you ready to take control of your own life and start being intentional with your perfect week and outline what you want it to look like? If you are, then download it and do it. But once again, you got to make the commitment to do the work. Are you willing to do the work? If not, maybe you need some help. If you're feeling like you've gone down this road before, but you haven't actually implemented it, you've been to shows or conventions and you've gotten the free stuff, you've filled up your trick-or-treat bag, but you just need someone to help kind of keep you on the right path, when you download it, you're going to be given a link where you can sign up for a free coaching consultation. I encourage you to meet with one of my business consultants. Let's find out whether or not we can help you and if we're a good fit. I appreciate the journey, the time we're spending together, and I know you're on your success path to a 7-figure team. Let's do it together.